Part of rebuilding. And I know sometimes people say, how many times do we need to rebuild until it is rebuilt?
Is that you are the future. But I would like to add to that, that you are also the present. You are the ones driving the positive and necessary change needed across the globe now in this very moment. And for that, I'm so grateful to be in your company today.
People always wait for the future to change things, but they always forget about the present and who they are in the moment. The most important time is present, and if you're not doing anything for the betterment of society and mankind, you won't be doing anything in the future too. So start today, and you'll write your future all by yourself. And if you continue working on yourself, there will be a time when you'll realize that you've achieved so much in your life. You won't believe how you got this far, and that would only be because you kept working on yourself and became this amazing person. The journey might not be that easy, but in the end, you would have achieved everything you wanted to. Always see the present and future in yourself, because that's how you're going to reach places. You might feel like you don't deserve to be so recognized or in such a high position, but it will all be because of your constant struggle and nothing else. And when you're struggling and making way for yourself in this world, make sure never to forget about speaking the truth. When you actually stand up for people around you, that's what builds empathy. And that's what's going to take you to higher places. If anything horrible happens around you or in your life, don't see it as an end, but as a beginning. And don't ever stop constantly striving to improve things, because you have the power to change everything. The key to becoming your true self is just to live in the present and improve yourself right now, instead of waiting for the future to come, and be empathetic towards others.
I was 11 or 12 years old, and I remember rushing back home, and on that drive home, seeing ash fall from the sky. And I remember seeing men in the back of a van just holding guns and rifles. And I remember pulling up to the house and seeing completely charred. And those memories don't go away. It was the LA riots, which was also triggered by a senseless act of racism. And I can't imagine that you would have to have a different version of that same type of experience. That's something that you should have an understanding of as a history lesson, not as your reality. The other thing, though, that I do remember about that time was how people came together. And we are seeing that right now. We are seeing that from the sheriff in Michigan or the police chief in Virginia. We are seeing people stand in solidarity. We are seeing communities come together and to uplift.
Looking around and wondering, how on earth did I get here? Have any of you today so far had that feeling, that pinch me moment where you just go, how am I here? It's a lot. And at that dinner, there were about 20 to 30 of us for the counselors. And there I was the girl from Suits.
And you are going to be part of this movement. The only wrong thing to say is to say nothing. Because George Floyd's life mattered, and Breonna Taylor's life mattered, and Philando Castile's life mattered, and Tamir Rice's life mattered, and so did so many other people whose names we know and whose names we do not know.
And I was surrounded by world leaders, humanitarians, prime ministers, and activists that I had such a deep and long-standing respect and admiration for. And I was invited to pull up a seat at the table. I was so overwhelmed by this experience. I think
there's a way for us to reframe this for you and to not see this as the end of something, but instead to see this as the beginning of you harnessing all of the work, all the values, all the skills that you have embodied over the last 4 years, and now you channel that. Now all of that work gets activated, because when the foundation is broken, so are we.
Proof that I was there, and proof that I belonged. Because the truth was, I wasn't sure that I belonged. I was so nervous. I doubted myself, and I wondered if I was good enough to even be there, if what I was doing in the world, albeit important and meaningful as far as I saw it, was it deserving to have a seat at this table?
You are going to use your voice in a stronger way than you've ever been able to. You are going to have empathy for those who don't see the world through the same lens that you do. When I was a sophomore in high school, always remember to put others' needs above your own fears. You are going to lead with love. You are going to lead with compassion. You are going to use your voice.
But one young world saw in me what I wanted to see fully in myself, just as I see in you, the present and the future.